Hello and welcome back to the channel. I'm Krashy, and today it's theory crafting time. You can already tell what's going on by looking at it. We got to talk a little bit about these new Pokemon that we got coming up. So first and foremost, let's go ahead and dive into 3 builds. It's a little bit more than 3 builds, but you know, for the sake of the title, 3 builds for Dodrio, MEW, and Scizor. So yeah, here we have it, this little graphic that I put together, and I essentially want to talk about my thoughts on how these characters are going to work and how I think that they might be built. I didn't want to do a full graphic breakdown for emblem builds, but I will talk about them a little bit. Dodrio going to be our newest speedster that's coming to the game. And yeah, this character has a really cool passive. I'm not going to cite the names a whole lot because I just don't have all that banked in my head, but a really cool passive where you essentially can split your energy either in 2 or in 3, depending on what evolution you are for Dodrio. And I think that attack weight is going to be standard across the board for this character. I think that for a speedster, I expect that the Pokemon is going to have good scaling. Like, it's going to have decent enough scaling that an attack weight will probably always be useful. So I'm thinking attack weight straight across the board. And for a speedster, not all speedsters feel this way, but for a speedster of the style of moves that Dodrio has, real dashy, getting in, fast kind of style. Like if you've read the kit, if you haven't, go check out my video on that, going over all the moves. I'll probably put that in the description below. Muscle Band feels good too. So you can see in all 3 builds that I have a Muscle Band attack weight variant, and then it starts to get a little bit different. So for a laning build, I think that there's a couple that I'm looking at. I've got the Muscle Band, the attack weight, the Focus Band. Focus Band needs no introduction. It's great at what it does. We all understand this. The reason why the second laning build that I'm looking at has a score shield is because of the scoring mechanic of this character. And I actually think that having tempo in scoring on the Sky Ruins, the Thea Sky Ruins, is going to be really important. There's no instant scoring with Zapdos. It's the new Regigigas. It's the new Rayquaza like score shield kind of buff thing, but that's not going to guarantee you that you're going to be in the lead going into that final stretch of the map, and it's also not going to guarantee you that you're going to win the game either per se. So I think that score shield could see some really niche uses, and I think that Dodrio might be one of them. And that's also why, if you see listed down at the bottom, I'm also putting Goal Getter as a potential option. You never know if some kind of a scoring focused style for like maybe 1 or 2 characters here and there could really shine in the meta. It's definitely something I'm going to be checking out, but otherwise I think X Speed is going to be really good on this Pokemon, and I think that eject button is very consistent regardless. So these are kind of the builds that I'm looking at for Dodrio specifically. Again, we'll go over it really quickly. So Muscle, I think, is going to be really good on this Pokemon across the board. Muscle's rarely ever not good, but let's say for whatever reason it's not the best option. Then we can obviously swap that out for some of these builds for like the Razor Claw. We'll get to that for the bottom build, something like that. But I do think that Muscle will probably be very good for this Pokemon. I think attack weight with the built-in passive where you can score a little bit easier than most other Pokemon is going to be good. And then, like I said, Focus Band, very consistent. For the scoring style, something that could be useful in the upcoming meta with Goal Getter, potentially without Goal Getter, we'll see. Score Shield could be really good. And then, of course, going something like a crit build where maybe you're just focusing on being an auto-attacking Dodrio. That's going to come with a little bit of experience on the character to feel if it feels like the character is actually auto-attacking enough. But if you had to pick only one of the crit items, I think Razor Claw is going to be really good. Dodrio has some moves where you kind of like dive in and like, you know, you hit them and you really are going to try to want to stick to someone and kind of like peck at them. So I think that Razor Claw could be a really good option here. And obviously, like I said, if Muscle Band's not useful, if the scaling's not super high, we could always drop down one of these options, like one of the Muscle Bands or the attack weights, for both of these crit items. So this is kind of the theory crafting that I'm looking for out of this character on the held item side. I've already talked about the battle items a little bit. And then on the emblem pages, I think the best way to put it is that this is a speedster, right? We're going to want one of 2 things. We know that the crit runes or the crit emblems are about to get nerfed. So what I think I'm probably going to do, and I haven't fully labbed it out just yet, is I'm going to go for 6 browns and crit. I'm going to do both. I want the 6 brown passive to bring me more attack stat, and that also will do good because it's percentage based with attack weight. And then I'm going to want as much crit as I can put on that as well. Maybe I'll do like some black emblems. We'll see. But I'm probably just going to focus 6 browns and crit. Or if you really want to, you can just focus full crit. Granted, the full crit's going to be nerfed from the current version that we have now, but still something to think about. So that's kind of what I'm thinking. All right, let's go ahead and move on to our next of the new 3 Pokemon. We have MEW, yes, a special attacker coming to the game. And I mean, first and foremost, same thing. Let's talk about the emblems really quickly because it hits that first build. We do know that the cooldown reduction emblems are going to be getting nerfed, or it was leaked that they're getting nerfed, so we don't know 100%, but I think that the cooldown reduction special attacker build has to be tried on Mew. It has to be. This is theory crafting. This is, we don't know if it's good, but you have to try it. So we're going to try out that full Shell Bell cooldown reduction, Energy Amp cooldown reduction with the choice specs for damage burst. The way that Mew's kit looks to me, I don't inherently feel like Muscle Band's the best option. So you see that I have one on here, and we'll talk about that in a second, but I'm starting to lean away from that. And the main reason is that not even just the main reason, but like a big reason is one of the main moves, or one of the potential moves that you can get, is a Solar Beam. You don't want to be Solar Beaming and muscle banding at the same time per se. I don't think that it's going to feel like the best option on Mew, but I could be wrong. So a lot of this build is really up in the air. You know, you may do full cooldown reduction with a muscle band. You know, you may do this option where you're, you know, full damage, where you have double glasses and a muscle band. You may do something where it's like muscle choice focus, so you can be a little bit more damage, or like a little bit more damage focus, but you kind of split up how the damage is done, where you're auto attacking and doing ability damage, and you have some durability. Now, I'm actually not a huge fan of the energy amplifier or a buddy barrier for this Pokemon, because the Unite move itself, it doesn't actually look like it's gonna be great for either of those items. The Unite move is like, you kind of like channel, or you go into this like animation, and then after time it does damage. So I feel like that could be wasted on the energy amplifier. And the other thing is, if the move leaks that we've gotten are legitimate, which we know they are, again, you have to see it to really know everything, but based on the move leaks we got for the Unite move, you become invincible. So it's like, I don't think you need a buddy barrier if you're invincible. So you enter stealth, and then it says invincible. So I don't know if that's a mistype, a bad leak. We'll see, right? So we'll see. Buddy barrier may end up being really good on this Pokemon, but you can see really standard kind of builds here. We're going to try the CDR build. For attackers, it's always like X speed or eject button usually. Maybe something like X attack could be good. I doubt it though, for a character like this that's like more on the special attacker side, doesn't have a high mobility. But I think if you want to go full special attack, where you're truly trying to do a bunch of damage, double glasses and like a focus band's pretty good. And then if you want to go triple damage and see what this feels like, definitely an option. So that's kind of what I'm thinking for Mew. I've looked at the abilities a lot. I think that it feels like this Pokemon's really going to lean into that special attacker side. I mean, it does literally, but just based on the abilities that it's getting, feels very special attacker-ish. So I think choice specs, wise glasses could be really good. And then we'll try out the CDR build with it as well. So that's my theory crafting, at least for now. Oh, and special attackers don't even need to theory craft their emblem pages. We're going to do black and green. It's as simple as that. There's nothing else to use. You're going to go 7 black, 6 greens. You can mess around with the specifics. Doesn't matter. That's what you want. So, all right. And last but not least is going to be our newest all-rounder, Scizor. So Scizor, I think it just depends on the play style. This character has some nuance where like you can stay Scyther, you can go Scizor. So I think battle items alone, and this is where there's so much diversity. This is where things get crazy. You can have full heal potentially. That might feel great. Eject might feel great. X speed might feel great. We just have to see. As for builds, it is really all over the place. So I think something like triple damage where you're going muscle, double crit could be great. I think the way that this character kit reads, and again, you have to just go read it, it's a lot of like jumping after people kind of a kit, like getting onto them and punching them, and like really, it feels a little divey inherently. I feel like Razor Claw feels really good on this Pokemon. I was reading over the kits again this morning, and Razor Claw just seems like it goes with this character. I don't exactly know how to make sense of it, but it does. It feels like it's going to be really good. So I think you could do something like Muscle Razor Focus for a pretty consistent build. And for the sake of saying, we don't know the scalings, so that's another thing to consider, and that's why I have this bottom build. But so yeah, you could go triple damage with double crit and Muscle. Muscle seems like it's going to be good. It's pretty much always good. Again, you could go triple damage, but instead of the double crit, you could drop one of the crits for energy amplifier. The other thing with scope lens, we don't know if any of the abilities crit, so like I'm getting awkward hiccups. Whenever you get to the point where we get more information about the Pokemon, we'll know if the actual abilities of the Pokemon crit, because then if they do, then scope lens might actually be really valuable. And then of course attack scaling. If the attack scaling is really high, maybe we do something like muscle weakness focus, muscle weakness attack weight, muscle razor attack weight. If you're jungling, maybe you go muscle razor weakness. It just depends. So when I'm theory crafting 3 builds for all the new Pokemon, it's kind of like just the marketing behind the video. I'm really doing way more than that, but I have to present it that way. So 3 builds for the new Pokemon, it's just what it's what it says, but it's not really what it is. So yeah, that's what I'm thinking. As for emblem pages, this one it's all over the place. You could do a heavy white build white focused HP defense build, you know, go white black a little bit or something like that, white brown a little bit. We may just go full offensive where we're going heavy on crit. Maybe we go 6 browns heavy on crit. Maybe there's some validity to trying, you know, heavy on the black side and putting some cooldown reduction. I don't think so. I really don't think so. I don't think it's going to be that crazy after the nerfs, and for characters that don't have built-in cooldown reduction, I don't think it's going to be that crazy. So we'll have to see. But friends, let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Like I said, go check out the pinned comment. It'll probably be in the description for the movesets video that I did for these Pokemon. If you don't know anything about them, you kind of want a little bit of context and you want to just kind of reference them at the same time or take a look at it, then it'll give you a little bit of context. But friends, that's what I'm thinking. Came up with these little graphics today and wanted to show off some of the builds that I'm thinking about trying. This is just where my mind goes whenever I play these Pokemon. We got the blue background for the Speedster, the like reddish background for the new attacker, and then the purple background for the all-rounder. And yeah, we'll see what it's like. So friends, September 2nd, we got our friend Mew coming out, the Thea Sky Runes, and we're going to be playing what might feel like a whole new game. So drop a like in the video, subscribe for future Pokemon Unite content, drop me a comment, let me know which build you're thinking about trying. If you've even thought about it, if you think any of these sound cool, that'd be awesome. But as always, be sure to be kind to one another, tell someone you love them, and I'll see you on the next video.